All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's about 10 after, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We just sent out another registration link, which was the correct link, so hopefully we'll get lots more participants, but I think we got almost 30 on right now, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. If you can hear us, if you could just type yes into your comment section, we'd appreciate it.
We're good to go.
All right. All right, well, before we get started, we're just going to go around the table here at the Coalition and let you know who's in the room. I'm Scott Stevenson. I'm the Quality Initiatives Director.
Marcel Easter, Business Information Director.
I'm Elizabeth Fielder, the Chief Program Officer. Deborah Gardner with Provider Relations. Patricia Sims, Chief Operations Officer.
Mary Brewster, Provider Relations.
Fiona McFarlane, Infant, Toddler, and Inclusion Specialist.
All right, so we're just going to jump into the agenda. I don't know, with the registration mess up, I'm not sure if Brenda is on the call yet. So we're just going to, I'm getting a no. So we'll move on to the next piece of the agenda, and that's our partner updates. So if we have any partners on the phone, if you're joining us today from another agency, or if you're a community partner, if you'd like to give us any updates, now's the time. Just raise your hand.
Richard is on. And Richard, you are self-muted, but you are good to go on our side.
Okay, how's everyone doing?
Okay, we're on.
Good, thanks. Very good.
All right, I understand these technical difficulties, but at least we're on. So anyways, the only thing I was going to tell y'all, but I see that you already have it as an attachment, was the competency exams have been extended out to May 3rd. So they were supposed to end on March 1st, but they've extended it another 3 months. But if providers have the opportunity, as exam sites open, we're encouraging them to go ahead and register and get those exams completed as quickly as possible, not wait to the last minute. We've also found out when exams are offered, a lot of people are no-shows. Not sure if it's because they get sick or what it is. So we encourage them, let them know well in advance if they're not going to be able to attend those exams, so somebody else can register for those slots. And that's really all we have right now.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate the update. And as always, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
To the webinar, so you can see that handout.
So if there's any other people on the call who would like to give us an update, we're looking for raised hands. No? Okay. All right. So we'll move on to the next one, provider updates. The first item there under that is going to be, I'm going to turn it over to Sienna McFarlane, our Inclusion Infant Toddler Specialist, and she's going to give you an update on some of the things that are going on with ASQs.
Hello, good afternoon again, everyone. Just a few updates on the ASQ. So normally we would send notifications with new enrollments, birthdays, and sometimes children who have been re-enrolled. And what we were finding is that sometimes we were missing kids. Some children who should have had their annual ASQ, these were not happening. So some persons might have noticed that you have been getting 2 notifications. One just says ASQ notification, and the other one says birthday notification. So the ASQ one notification, those are going to be only your newly enrolled children. And then the birthday one will have the kids who are having a birthday for that particular month. What we're trying to achieve is to send the birthday one at least a month in advance so that you have time to do the screening of those kids. So if you're having any difficulties, if you have any challenge where that is concerned, you can send me an email or you can call me here. All right, thank you so much.
We're going to pause real quick just to see if we have any questions regarding the new birthday notifications. And I think she said it, but those notifications she's referring to are in blue jeans.
No questions on that, but Brenda has joined us. So
Awesome.
we're back up on our agenda.
So moving back up, our special guest speaker has arrived. This is going to be Brenda Ford. She's with Crippen and Company, and she's going to give us some CARES financial updates.
Brenda, you are good to go. You're self-muted, but now you're unmuted. Hi, Brenda.
I'm sorry, I was on the other site and the other link trying to figure out what was going on.
That's our fault. Thank you for your patience.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. As some of you may or may not know, the providers, I am a CPA, and Elizabeth has asked me to give you a little update regarding the CARES Act, which came through the federal government in March of 2020 when the pandemic hit. Understand there might be some confusion regarding the funds that you received from various sources, so I was just going to kind of run through those for you. And Elizabeth, if I misspeak on some of the ELC part, please help correct me.
No problem.
Okay. So back on March 27th, the government passed what was called the CARES Act, which was intended to provide financial assistance through various channels. The federal government had SBA loans, which included economic disaster loans and payroll protection, or what you might know as PPP loans. They sent money down to the county level, they sent money down to the city level, or actually I guess to the state level, and then the state gave money, allocated money to the counties and cities. And Florida was very fortunate to get about $8 billion, and Florida passed a lot of that money down to the early learning coalitions to help all of you providers get through the pandemic times. So in what they, those monies that came through the ELC were considered grant monies. And grant monies generally are taxable income to those that receive the grants. Whereas on the other hand, the SBA monies, the EIDL, the economic disaster loans, and the PPP were actually loans. And loans, of course, are intended to be paid back and are not taxable income. However, fortunately for everybody that received those monies, as the year went on, and really right up until the end of December, it was decided that if those loans were forgiven, or if you received a economic disaster advance, those monies would not be taxable income, and you would still be able to deduct all of the expenses you paid using those funds, which is a great opportunity and tax benefit for anybody that received those monies. So basically we have two types of monies that came down. We have the grants and we have the loans, which could potentially be forgiven. All of the monies that came through the Early Learning Coalition are grants, and again, those will be taxable income to you. You know, they were to emergency grants. They were there to help the small businesses, help all of you cope and get through with your cash flow, hopefully be able to retain all your employees and continue operating as much as you could under the situation. And again, I know you had to continue having your costs, so hopefully it will not be too much of a tax burden for all of you that received those grants. What is there any? Go
Brenda,
ahead.
can we pause for a second, see if we have any questions?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, let me look and see. So that's a lot of info that you gave, and we're so thankful for it. I appreciate you taking the time to come on today.
Sure.
Okay, I think we can keep going. There's no questions just yet.
Okay. And I think generally, and I think what people need to understand and where the confusion is that, you know, when you have tax exempt income, which would be these loans that are forgiven, generally you aren't able to deduct those expenses paid with those funds. But the government has been quite generous, actually, and allowing you to forgive the income, not pay tax on the PPP or the economic disaster monies, and still deduct all the expenses, which hopefully will help with some of the tax burden. I don't know how many of you, the providers, received, you know, what type of funds. I know most of them probably received the ELC funds, grants, but hopefully it won't be too much of a burden for anybody here at tax time. I don't know, was there anything else that specifically you want me to cover, Elizabeth?
I think you did a fantastic job, and especially just making people aware of, you know, to be cognizant of this when you are ready to file your taxes, which is the IRS just started accepting refunds or accepting the filing, I think last week.
Yeah, for individuals, yep, on the 12th.
So when do businesses file, do you know? I know you know.
Yeah, businesses have been filing since mid-January, so they are all filing.
Awesome. Okay.
Already.
We don't have any questions just yet, but hopefully if any of the providers, if you all do have any questions, please do seek out your own CPA or whoever you're using to assist you with that filing of those taxes. And Brenda does serve on our board, and we're so thankful again for your time and your commitment to us here at the Coalition and just sharing this information. I think it's important. It's the perfect time of year to say it.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we don't have any additional questions right now. So if we do, Brenda, can we send some over to you if we get any?
Absolutely.
Later?
Yes, certainly. Be happy.
Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
All right, so next on our agenda under provider updates, we've allocated some time to speak to you all about market rates and what's happening with those and some of the changes that are happening now and that are coming up with market rates.
So market rates are the amount of money that we pay you that's combined with the parent fee. Okay, so you all should know and have a copy of what your market rate is that we pay you. If you don't know what that is, then go ahead and look at your last reimbursement report, because that's going to tell you how much you got paid per child, okay? There is also a market rate sheet that we've shared with you in the past. We are getting ready to increase market rates. Yay! Go ahead, everybody can cheer. I'm going to stop for a second. Everybody cheer. Woo! Hopefully you're cheering over there too. So if you are a school readiness provider, what that means is that we are increasing some of your rates. And we don't quite know exactly what that will look like yet, but the reason we are bringing it up is because we are going to be part of this process, and it is a huge process. It is retroactive back to January 1st. And the other piece of that is what goes along with the rate increase, which you all might already know, is a contract amendment or two. Yes, I said or two. So we're making you really aware, and I've already contacted a couple of providers, because if your rates are not equal to what our new market rates will be, there's a possibility that we got a yay, thank you, hallelujah. Yes, we're saying it with you. But if your rates, there's only 4 providers in our community right now whose rates are not going to match the new rates that we have. I've already contacted 2 of you. The other 2 I'll be contacting or asking one of our team to contact, just so that you are really aware of the impact that this will have. Because if your rates don't match ours or they're lower, guess what you get paid? The lower of the 2. So really just bringing this up to you so that you are aware there will be contract amendments coming your way. Please check that. If you get a contract amendment, we need you to sign it so that we can move forward with the next one, because there's going to be one or two for some of you. Marcy wants to add.
Yes. So Elizabeth said there was 4 providers whose rates were absolutely lower than the new rates. What I also would encourage you to look at, because as I was updating those rates last week, there may be a one-off that one of your care levels is lower than the rate and didn't get on Elizabeth's list. So definitely take a look at these and just let us know if you are going to make any business changes, because remember, whatever you submit to us has to be a complete business change, and you'll have to charge those new rates to your private parents.
Right. So if you make a change, it has to be across the board. It's a change to your entire operation and what you charge to families that attend your program. The other thing to keep in mind, and I can feel this question coming, can we get a copy of the new rates? And absolutely, as soon as we have them, we will send them out to you. There are just a lot of working parts to this. So we have proposed rates right now. We will get those out to you as soon as we have a final rate. So hang tight. This is really just kind of getting you in the mode of going to look at those rates, because this is important. It's a big, big deal. So it's also, you know, this is the time too, when we're talking about orientation, which is next. I'm actually just going to slide right into that, Scott, if you don't care. We're holding our 21-22. Okay, sorry. Somebody just said we can hear Scott and Marcy talking at the same time. We can't make out what is being said. It sounds like 2 or 3 meetings overlapping. You might want to log out and log back in. It sounds like something is weird, because only I'm talking, and this full is this. But try that and see if that happens. She did. So we have been holding new provider, well, not new provider, all school readiness provider orientation. These orientations are for both our school readiness and VPK providers, because they are how to update your 21-22 provider profile. So this is great timing to talk about your rates and to look at your rates and to really decide where you want to go with that. If you want to increase it, this is a fantastic time to really do a deep dive on that. The question, let me look at some questions that we have. Are those rates going to be enough to cover the effect that the raise in minimum wage will have? I don't know the answer to that. I don't know that we can effectively answer it. We know that this is a requirement and it's going back to January 1st. So I don't know the answer to that, and I guess time will tell. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We're very aware of, you know, the feedback that we've gotten from providers, and we're very aware of what impact this may have on you, probably will have on you, if I'm bold enough to say that, which I am. So I guess stay tuned for that and just keep watching what happens and keep track of how the raise in minimum wage impacts you. So let me just make sure. Okay, I'm glad we got the hearing situation taken care of. I'm glad. So talking about 21-22 provider profile orientation, this is just on here as a reminder. If you haven't attended one yet, we need you to go ahead and register. There are how many next week, Scott?
There's going to be 4 sessions total. There's going to be one in the morning and evening of Tuesday the 23rd, and one in the morning and evening of Thursday the 25th. So there's a 9 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday and then a 6:30 p.m. And Thursday's a little different. The morning session starts at 10:30 and the evening one starts at 6:30. So last time I looked, based on the attendance that we had a couple weeks ago, we still have right around 60 providers who still have not yet attended. So based on the sessions for next week, we can allow up to 15 participants per session. So that's with 4 sessions, that's going to put us right at 60. So if you haven't, like Elizabeth said, if you hadn't had a chance or excuse me, didn't participate a couple weeks ago, please come and register for the ones next week. It can be you, or if you want to designate someone from your site, a member of your staff, to come. And we will be giving out certificates of attendance for this. That's all I've got.
And it's been very well received by the providers that have attended. We've gotten some feedback saying thank you. We've been waiting for a while for this deep dive into how to complete these profiles. So we're happy to do it. And we're also going to do one for the VPK applications in a little bit. In a little bit, probably in March meeting. So should we keep going?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So the next item, we labeled it provider profile and rejected status. So when you log into your portal, based on the status of your profile, you should be receiving notifications every time your profile is in rejected status. So when our staff are going through either maybe approving things that have been done to your profile or asking something of you, they may put your profile in a rejected status. So what we're finding is that the profiles are staying in rejected status for long periods of time. So the way you've set up your portal to be notified with your notifications from the portal, we just want to highly encourage you, and we really need you to check that source often, whether it's your email, to see if you have any new notifications from the portal. When your profile is in this rejected status, it could ultimately hold things up for you. It could prevent you from submitting your attendance. It could prohibit you from receiving a payment. So it's in your best interest to check on that regularly and make sure that you are keeping your profile out of rejected status.
All right, let me add something to that. Just as a reminder, we're moving towards a new time where it is going to be required that in order for you to get paid for an enrollment, that parents are accepting the enrollment. So you are going to be in your profile a little more often probably to accept enrollment, and then to encourage the parents to also accept their own enrollment and check off those terms and conditions. Starting in March, you will not get paid for parents that do not accept their attendance, their enrollment at your site. So this is a big, big, big deal. This is probably the second or third time you've heard us talking about this. This is huge, guys. We don't want to see you not get paid for a family attending your site where you are providing services because the family is not accepting the enrollment. Now, we hear from families all the time, I don't know how, the button's not showing up. There's a lot of different reasons why they're not doing it. They just don't want to. You are going to have to take some action on your side if you have those families that just they're not getting it. We are working on a video to assist families, obtaining a video that other coalitions are using. We're just trying to make sure it's user-friendly before we post it publicly, and that it's not, we found one, it's about 6 minutes long. I don't know about you, but if it's not less than like a minute, my ADD kicks in and I don't get to finish watching that video. So we just need to make sure you are very, very, very aware that if you see that PND or however it shows up on your side, it may show up in different ways that I can't remember right now. Make sure that family accepts that enrollment and that they complete those terms and conditions. Also, that has something to do with your ASQs. If they don't complete those terms and conditions, we don't know if you have permission or not to do the ASQ screening with that child. So it meets multiple purposes, but again, starting in March, you're not going to be able to get payment for that child if that family doesn't accept the enrollment. So let me pause, see if anybody in here wants to add to what I said, or did I miss anything, guys?
Now remember, that is March attendance that you submit in April is when this is supposed to be going into effect, as well as, I just lost my train of thought. Wow.
I hate when I do that. I do that more often than I like Sunday.
Oh, and this will only be on new enrollments and redeterminations that start March 1st. Any parent that had not signed prior to March, they will be grandfathered in to keep moving forward. So it is on new enrollments. So you may say, hey, this one says pending and it's still showing. Why aren't my other ones? That would be the reason why.
All right, we don't have any questions on that. There's one more thing I want to bring up today that we have recently experienced. We had a provider who had an emergency situation and their director had to leave immediately. They had a family emergency, they were not accessible, and they were the only person listed on their provider profile. So what happened is the people that were left in charge of the facility when that person had to leave quickly did not have access to any of their information. I'm just going to let that sink in for just a second, because should you find yourself in that situation, who can you count on to step in your shoes for that moment and be able to access your profile, be able to conduct business on your behalf? Do you have that secondary contact? Do you have multiple numbers in your profile so that we can reach you in the event of, I don't know, let's say pending attendance that needs to be submitted so we can pay you? These are big deals, and I want to encourage you to definitely look at your profile while you're doing these updates and make sure you have a landline listed. Make sure you have a secondary contact that has approval to work on your behalf. That means you have to check that contract button so that we can talk with them and work with them. That you're not always going to be that. We're not trying to, have you give your power over to somebody else. We're trying to ensure that you have a backup plan. BCF does require a landline, so we also want to encourage, while we don't necessarily require a landline on your profile, it is definitely a best practice. Definitely. Let me pause and look at the questions that we have. So we had a question about the parent pending family acceptance. Is this for VPK and school readiness, or what?
Okay, so this is only school readiness, because if you recall, VPK, those parents are giving you the certificates. Parent sign certificate, you sign certificate, you register the VPK students in which class you want, and then we accept your changes with that. So unless you have a VPK that also has SR for VPK wrap, then it would be their SR profile and certificate that the parent needs to sign.
Awesome. And now the second question that we have is, just to clarify, this is not a monthly requirement. It's only for new and renewed students. And that's correct. Those are for children that are enrolled with you after March 1st or on or after March 1st. You're definitely going to have to get on them. We've already been trying to work with the parents that are still pending acceptance that are already enrolled. There's a new piece that is in play with EFS Mod where it's automatically sending an email to those parents every 5 days that they don't accept that. So hopefully we will annoy them to death and they will go ahead and sign it. We're trying to. So that yes, we are trying to be annoying. I know. But we have actually, when we pulled a report of the pending family acceptance parents, they all did have active email addresses, which is one step in the right direction. So we don't have any more questions about that.
I'll throw out a couple of extra little things for pending provider approval. Make sure that that you're going into your enrollments and either rejecting or accepting any new families. I'm actually looking at one right now. It says pending provider approval. It's been in that status for 179 days.
Ooh, that's a long time.
That is a long time. Another one, 116 days. So that tells me y'all are not rejecting those parents. You're letting them hang out there. So if you know, and typically you know within 30, 45 days that a parent is going to start, most of the time it should be within a week or before they even start, go ahead and reject that the child never showed up. Keep those records clean. And that will be a huge, huge help for both your side and our side with those pieces. Can I go into some reimbursement updates?
Yeah, we don't have you on the agenda.
Okay, I am not on the agenda. Yeah, I thought I was on there for reimbursement.
Go ahead.
Every time I was
put
here.
You on there. You heard it, everybody. Every month now, you will get reimbursement updates from Marty.
Okay, 2 minutes ago, while I was sitting in this meeting, I just closed out the last VPK. So everybody will get paid. SR is closed out in VPK. One of the things that I am seeing is VPK and SR, we are not having sign-in and out sheets or the long and short forms uploaded to Blue Jeans on a regular basis within the first 3 days. We've had some come in on the 9th, 10th. If we've rejected your attendance for those reasons and you upload them to Blue Jeans, you still have to go back into MOD and update and resend in your attendance again. You can upload those files to Blue Jeans. We can't process it unless you resubmit again. Another little tip, I would encourage everybody to go back and look at your previous months for SR and VPK. There are quite a bit of rejecteds out there that either the children stopped coming and need to be terminated, that we don't have sign-in and outs for, that you've never gone back and resubmitted to us. We did go over this last month that we are going to start holding to the contract regulations, which means you should be cleaning those up within 3 months of that attendance being submitted. VPK is highly important to have that submitted because I know from here to the end of this year, this fiscal year, I have VPK classes closing every month. You guys are ending classes every month. If you have not resubmitted this time, your end of class reports are not going to be accurate. So a little bit of cleanup right now will help things in the long run to move your last payment forward. Any questions on all of that?
Not so far.
Yay.
That was a lot of information. Basically, we're just trying to get you in the habit of keeping clean records, because the cleaner the records, the easier it is to reconcile and make sure that you got paid correctly, that the right students are enrolled, children are enrolled, and that you're withdrawing children that are no longer attending, all of that stuff, that good stuff. Okay, I think we're okay. I'm just going to go ahead and go down to the next spot. I want to give an announcement about something that's coming up. We are about to launch our preschool development grant. Oops, hold on. Can we keep clean records on ASQ too? We are working on that. Yes, we are working on that, and there's about to be a new launch in the process, so we will keep you in the loop. Sienna is doing a lot of work to try to keep, to review what has been already done, put in place. You know, the ASQ processes are there, and we appreciate all of you and your diligence for doing those screenings and working with us on these changes. And there's more changes to come. Hopefully it will make it easier.
Look for updates in April on that.
Yeah, definitely. We'll definitely be talking about more about ASQ later this year. Over the next couple months, there'll be some big changes that have to do with Brooks talking with ESS Mod. Fingers crossed. So talking about the preschool development grant, we have the opportunity to bring conscious discipline training back to Marion County. I'm excited about this option, this opportunity. We got some grant funding that is going to, it's limited though, so it's first come, first serve to the first 20 providers. We will have it'll be free training and some other really great incentives for you to participate in. So if you're experiencing, so let's talk about conscious discipline for a minute. Some of you are over there going, yes, I've been waiting for this. Some of you are like, what is that? Well, what conscious discipline is it's a way. We already heard some people telling me I want in. It is a way to help your teachers and your families learn how to address behaviors that are unwanted in the classroom and really turn them into behaviors that are okay and that you can handle. So they're less disruptive. Your classroom is more functional and helps you work with those children and families that might have some more different needs that might be a little harder to address. So it helps reduce stress. It helps just get your classroom moving in the direction that you want it to be. So I have 20 slots. I have 2 providers that I'm already going to count as signed up. This particular grant, we will be bringing the training in. We have, I think, training seats for, there will be more information, of course, to those of you that are interested, and probably I'll send it to everybody. But I think we're going to do at least 2 conscious discipline trainings that will hopefully be in person. And if for some reason the conscious discipline trainers will not do them in person, we will figure that out. So they may be virtual. We're still working on that piece. We are very lucky in our building here to be able to socially distance with groups of up to 20 with the trainer in the room as well. So we've done a really good job, I think, of keeping everybody safe and clean, checking temperature. So we feel pretty confident to be able to host trainings with up to 20 people in them. That's the goal. So if you're interested in conscious discipline, if you're experiencing a lot of behavior issues at your site, you can't keep a teacher because a 2-year-old keeps biting her on the leg or him, or keeps chewing on your other kids in your class. This is a great opportunity for you and your staff. There are dollars built into it to also provide some incentive pieces to your team, as well as the conscious discipline materials that go with the training, and some things to incorporate the family, because this is, what do they say? It takes a village, right? So we got to have the families involved as well. So just know while you're signing up for this, that part of this will be that we host a family night at your site through at least one time, where we get the families involved and saying we're using conscious discipline in the classroom and we want to support you at home and we want to work together as a team. That's one big component of conscious discipline. So let me pause and see if I have any questions. I have now already 3 providers that have already said that they want in. So I have 17 seats open, guys. I'll definitely be in touch with everybody with more information about the details of what this will include. And I guess more to come on that. And I know Lily is not able to join us because she's on a different call today at the same time. So Scott is going to talk about the professional development.
So yeah, that first one under there is kind of a duplicate that was meant to be taken off the agenda, the 21-22 provider profile orientation we spoke about. So the next one is just a reminder, we do have CPR classes available to be registered on our website. We've got one, we just had one last weekend. We've got one next March, I think it's on the 13th. And then we've got one April, May, June. So that's what's ready and available right now on our website. And of course, we'll be posting more even after June. So the next one is actually this weekend. This is the phonological awareness training with Elizabeth Fields. This is through DCF. So in order to register for this one, you'd have to go to the DCF website where they offer their online instructional courses. You can find it there. But it's going to be here at the Coalition from 10 to noon. So it's a 2-hour training this Saturday. And then, of course, we wanted to remind you, I think we did last month, but we wanted to keep it on here, remind you about the 32nd Annual Early Childhood Conference. It's going to be virtual this year, and that will be on March the 27th, which I believe is a Saturday.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And that's an all-day thing. I think it's about 6.5 hours. I think it starts at 9, and there'll be a break around noon. Our keynote speaker is going to be Lisa Murphy. She's the ooey gooey lady. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with her.
We still have those books too. If any of you are interested in Lisa Murphy books, we have a generous donation from DCF for last year's conference, and so we're making them available at your orientation sessions when you sign up. We're letting people take them, and then of course those that come to training on Saturday are able to pick up theirs. So those are available. And that you can register for that. Sorry, Scott. You can register for that at CF on the CF website. It is, I think, $40 to register, and you still can get reimbursed from the coalition for your registration once you finish that.
Did you want to speak about just that last one? Yeah.
Oh, yes, I do. Okay. Professional development stipend. Okay. So there is an opportunity, and up on your screen is the flyer. When we do our follow-up email, we can include all of this stuff, but the flyer is also in your handouts that are attached to this meeting. There's an opportunity for your teachers to complete training that's on this list to receive a stipend for training. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with the coalition. This is through OEL is sponsoring it. It's part of the preschool development grant, which you heard me associate with conscious discipline, but it is definitely an opportunity for your team. So I would encourage you to look into that. Lily Howard in our office does have a lot of information on this if you need more, or if your teachers are having a hard time. But just know, before you do anything though, I would highly encourage you to read this. And there's an application that you have to, I don't know if this will work. Let me click it. There's an application. Let's see if it comes up. Okay, so this is what it will look like. I hope you guys can see my screen when I click that link. I think you can see it, but I'm not sure. But this is where you want to register for those, for that piece, for the stipend. And you have to get approved before you can go on with the classes. So it's going to be really important that you follow the instructions on that original sheet. Sorry, I'm making everybody busy. But that is the sheet with all the links is in the attachments on the handouts page. Just another opportunity we wanted to make sure you are aware of so that you can get one more perk for your teachers. We understand that it's been a difficult year and it's difficult to keep good teachers, and then we're asking them to get trained on top of doing what they do. And so this is just another way to say thank you to them. I did get one question about this when it comes to, it looks like they're not taking any more applications. It's worth a shot because we don't know if they're going to open that back up. So I did get a question previously, though, about if they get a stipend through here, can they get reimbursed through the coalition? The answer to that is no. If they are already reimbursed through this, or if they received a stipend through this program, we cannot pay them on top of it. However, if your application is not accepted and your teachers want to take these classes anyway, we still can reimburse up to $300 per year for training that they take as long as they finish it. That application is on our website. So I'm checking in the questions to see if we have any. Lots of people interested in conscious discipline. I'm very glad to hear that. Let's see. Let me go back to the top. Oh, yep, I see that where it says that they are not, they've reached their capacity. So, but if any of your teachers want to take any of those trainings that are available up there, just keep in mind the coalition then for that reimbursement opportunity. I'm going to go back to our agenda because there's one more thing I want to tell you about before we say goodbye today and or open it up for additional questions. There are actually two more things. There is something, if your teachers, this is in response to professional development. If your teachers, and how Richard Forrester had shared that people are signing up for the exams, but they're not showing up, test anxiety is a thing. My team are in here going, yep. I know that I've heard from some of you that you have fantastic teachers and they get to the test, they can't pass the test, they take the training, they know their stuff, they know how to work with those babies in the classroom, and then they get to the test and they freeze. And I experienced that. I have a learning disability myself and have had to learn how to overcome that. I know a lot of people that have, and I'll tell you, test anxiety is a killer. And the thing is, we don't want to let it stand in the way of your excellent teachers and getting those trainings that they have to have under their belt. So we have this, the OEL has responded to that particular thing. And up on your screen, it's something called Study Buddies. You may have heard of this and gone, I don't know what that is and I'm interested. So I really wanted to kind of highlight it today and show you there's different opportunities to help, and it's free. You just have to give your teachers the time to log on. So one question that we just got is, how do we get test assistance when they have a learning disability? So depending on if it's a physical learning disability where they need more time or something like that, I would recommend reaching out to the testing facility to see what accommodations they are allowed to make. So there may be some certain accommodations. They may have to show some proof of their disability though, so be prepared to ask for that. I don't know what that would look like, but just be aware that that may be something. The Study Buddies piece, it comes out every month. It is Eventbrite, so it's online, it's contactless, it's virtual. They just have to be able to access it. I believe this one is actually cell phone friendly too. I did a Zoom call the other day from my car on my cell phone, and that was fun. But it still works, you know, it still works. So I would definitely say check this out, share it with your staff, look at all the different training. This is all the different topics that they will provide some help with, so that if the exams are holding them back for any reason, then this can be helpful. Instructional support for English language learners is available for certain sessions as well, and those are marked with an asterisk. And the example for that is like if they speak Spanish and they need a Spanish-speaking instructor. So hopefully that will provide you with some help. Let's see. I'm just looking at the questions that we have. There's a link we provided because we hand out the flyer, would not have digital link. Yes. Now they're not taking any more applications right now, so I think we can try to give you the link to it so you can check every now and then. But if it becomes live again and we find out, we'll definitely let you know. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing any questions, but I'm also trying to keep up those providers that said that they want to participate in conscious discipline. So the last thing I want to share with you today is just something coming up, and actually it's ongoing right now. It is Readapalooza, with the public library system. It started last week, but we thought this was a great opportunity. You're only a week in. So in there, this is a flyer that we will include in the follow-up email from today's meeting. It just talks about what the library is doing to support reading and celebrate Dr. Seuss's birthday, which is coming up. So basically in here, this is a 3-page document. Readapalooza, it's basically you're coloring a stripe on Dr. Seuss or Cat in the hat that for every day that you and your child read aloud for 15 minutes. So some of you can give this out to your families, your parents. There is opportunities for door prizes, and there is a final event on March 6th. It's a virtual event, and it's a virtual, sorry, I'm making myself busy. Readapalooza virtual event on Saturday, March 6th, I believe it is. Mine is covered by my administrative piece. March 6th from 11 a.m. to 3. You do have to register so that you can be a part of it. If you want to be a part of it, so please share it with the families. And this is just a fun event going on right now. So let me stop and see if we have any additional questions before we say goodbye. And we thank you for your patience and our little technical glitch today. But we recovered well with your help, so thank you. I don't see any additional questions, so if everybody wants to say goodbye. All right, well, everybody have a great afternoon.
We look forward to seeing some of you next week at the orientations.
Yes, please come see us. We miss you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.